and gentlemen, welcome. Patrick Freecourt here for this week's Mindset Call. Great to have you guys here. Do me a favor. Can you let me know, A, if you can hear me, and B, if you can see my video camera? Because mine's showing up black. Yes, I can hear you. Can hear you and no camera. Oh, that's such a bummer, Debbie. All right. Robert says yes. I don't see the video camera. All right. Video's black. Yeah. Mine's black too. Hold on. Because that's not what I wanted. Hold on. Try this one more time here. Huh. It says people can see you, but I don't think you can. Anyways, do the best we can here. No camera. That's a bummer. Welcome, Scott and Andrew and Tammy, Carrie, Debbie, Robert, Janice. If I missed your name, it's because you're popping up so quickly as we jump on here. Great to have you guys here, and I apologize for not being with you over the last couple weeks. We outgrew our system and had to kind of reorganize everything, and the reorganization went, well, exactly as predicted, but not as planned. If that makes any sense to you. Just how it happens, right? All right, so we are going to get caught up today. Happy to be back on air with you. Like I said, I wish you could see me, though. Hang on. I'm going to try this one more time. Hold on. Control shows it's on, shows that you guys should be able to see me right now. So what we'll do, we'll turn it all off one last time. See your screen, I get that, you can hear me, that's awesome. Camera comes up. Where's it go? Well, it is what it is, right? We'll flow with it. So today's conversation, I say this all the time, that, yeah, I'm sorry, Janice, I don't know. It's black on my side too, right? Like it says webcam on, people can see you. I'm getting all these things saying that like you're viewing all this, but apparently not quite the case. So it is what it is, right? We can make do without it. But do me a favor, because the one reason, not the one reason, but one of the reasons why I like to have cameras, because it's easier for us to stay focused during these calls. And I can totally appreciate that when somebody's, all you hear is a voice, it's easy to drift and get caught up in what else we're doing. So let's do each other a favor, okay? I'll keep this short and sweet and to the point. And you guys do your best to just stay in the call. Your interaction is certainly most appreciated. So this isn't just a one-on-many call. That way it goes back and forth. We get to cross-communicate, which makes the calls that much better. So by all means, please share your thoughts and comments as we go along here. Today's title is Direction versus Destination. And I could have put a subline underneath that would have said, why direction is more important than destination. And here's the thing. We always start out with destination. And it's kind of our default position. So let me share an idea with you. And probably about a year ago, I think we talked a little bit about this, but in a little different context. So we'll reshape it a bit today. Okay. Just some Google thing crashed. I hope you can still hear me. What if I said, when I say what if I said, what I'm really saying is this is true what I'm about to say. But all that I share with you on these calls is always for your consideration. It's not for your immediate, must be kind of consumption, right? It's not the only way, but it's certainly for your consideration. Welcome to the call, Andrew. What if I said the highest level of fulfillment, the highest level of achievement would be for us to reach our full potential, for us to be all, take it from the Army, be all that you could be, right? Well, there's power in that statement. When, sure, whoever came up with that, I'm pretty sure it was the Army who used it, but whoever came up with that for the Army, they knew what they were talking about. Be all that you can be. See, when we're less than we know we're capable of, that's where dissatisfaction, regardless of other barometers, regardless of other areas of achievement, regardless of other areas we measure life, but when we're less than we know we're capable of, it's very, very hard to be content. It's very, very hard to be at peace. One of the greatest creators of stress is going to bed at night knowing that we were not all that we could have been today. See, when you're pushed to failure, but you've given it everything you got, you can still sleep well. But vice versa, even when you've met your goals and you've achieved in that capacity, when you know you're capable of more, it doesn't sit well internally. And that's just how it's written in our DNA code. And I think it's done that way to make sure that we always perpetuate, that we always continually improve and get better so that we perpetuate our race, quite honestly. I think it's a self-defense mechanism for the universe. Hopefully you guys are there, right? The screen just blacked out. I mean, that's bizarre. Hope you guys are still with me. Hold on. Click that. Click that. Somebody give me, yeah, we're still here. All right, perfect. Thank you, Janice, and Andrew, and Amit, and Jill, and Carrie. So, as we go into this conversation, now I got a black screen. Check that out. So as we go into this conversation, keep in the back of your mind, right, the difference between achievement and fulfillment. Achievement is just ways we measure our success, measure our progress, measure our what we've done. But fulfillment's a whole different level. And achievement in and of itself doesn't make up for fulfillment. It's a piece of it, but it's not all that it is. And if it were, then there would not be any unhappy rich people. But in fact, there are tons of miserable bastards out there that have 8-figure incomes. And that's the truth of it. And remember, too, as we go along here, the title of our discussion here, direction versus destination. Direction is more important than the destination. So go back to fulfillment, the highest level of fulfillment, peace, satisfaction that you can ever find, which is really, at the end of the day, what we all are striving for, no doubt. And we may describe it as freedom, we may describe it as financial stability, which is a piece of it, but it ain't it, I'll tell you that. When we achieve, we reach goals and objectives, but that in and of itself doesn't give us what we really want from the inside. And that's we want to be fulfilled. And we don't have a choice on that because it's impossible to find steady ground shy of that. I know many of you know what I'm talking about. And I have this conversation probably a lot more times than I'd like to. Not from my perspective, but more times than I wish people were in this. More times than I'd like to know that people are stuck in this position. That they've met financial goals and other things like that, but they cannot find peace. Well, what if? We'll get into the conversation in a second. But what if we are meant for much more than where we're at today? Every once in a while I take a step back and look back not necessarily in terms of looking for direction, but more in reflection. Look back, and not all the time, but often I realize that, damn, I've taken kind of a zigzag path to get where I'm at. 10 years ago, I never guessed in a million years I'd be where I am now. And everything I've done up till now has been nothing much more than practice. I'm not even on the big stage yet. When I say the big stage, I don't mean like, in a title or, you're up in front of all these people, nothing like that. When I say big stage, I mean the primary reason why we're here. That's what I mean by big stage. We've all had crazy life experiences, good, bad, and indifferent, right? All of which have been practice for our true calling. So follow me. I'm just seeding some of this conversation here, right? So fulfillment comes out of the idea that we have to constantly be growing. We have to constantly be contributing. We have to continually feel significant, wanted, needed, relevant, relative. These are all components of our basic DNA, basic human needs. And very difficult to satisfy when we're not living up to who we're meant to be. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you're constantly swimming upstream, constantly battling like an unseen or unknown opponent or ghost, constantly being blindsided by the next corner you take? Just as you feel like you're getting ahead, you get knocked backwards. Just as you feel like momentum is being generated, the wool gets ripped out from beneath your feet. And I'm assuming for all of you, the answer to that is yes. And I would suggest that a big part of that has to do with what I'm going to talk about here. And this really is definitely a two-part call. We'll set the context in this first call, and the second one we'll dig into another key component of it. Direction is more important than destination. So fulfillment is gained in our constant pursuing of being the best version of us possible. The quicker we do that, the better. What if I said that to be wholly fulfilled is a simple formula? Reach your potential. Be all that you can be. Self-actualize, being you've reached all that you're capable of being. That seems like a black and white simple thought or concept at first, but here's the twist. And there is a twist. Twist is this. The twist is the fact that as we move forward every single day, we gain more knowledge. Our capacity is constantly increasing. When I say constant, I mean this is the way it's supposed to work, okay? Picture a round ring, and I've done this in a diagram before. The round ring, okay, represents your capacity, your ability to achieve, your ability to become bigger, all that your skill sets allow for you to do. And we started with a seedling of many skill sets, innate and unique to us when we were born, right? We've developed those over the time. Outside the circle is our spirit, our passion, our purpose, our why. Our job is to constantly push our capacity to reach the boundaries of our why. And our why is out there to make sure we don't sit still. This is the process of achieving our potential, becoming bigger than we were the day before. But picture this ring. Now picture and watch what happens. If the ring inside the ring represents your potential, not your end goal, but your potential, what you're capable of, and your spirit outside the ring, the round circle, represents the magnetic force which is constantly pulling you to become bigger, then what do you think happens when in fact you do push those boundaries? They are expanded. And this is the paradox. Our potential increases. So each time we step outside those boundaries, those comfort zones, those barriers, our potential is enhanced. So now, in effect, the act of pursuing the becoming all you can be, the self-actualization, the highest level of fulfillment, is in fact at the exact same time driving the target further away. Because your potential is increasing along the way, getting bigger. So the paradox is the process of trying to become all that you can be is impossible to ever reach. Because in doing so, you become bigger, which increases your potential. Can't have one without the other. You say, well, what's the answer to this riddle? It's in the title. It's not about the end. It's about the journey. It's about the process. And many of us miss out on the journey. We miss out because we pick targets, we pick destinations that we wait for in order to live life. I will be happy when I graduate college, when I get my first real job, when I get my first car, when I find the right soulmate, when I marry them, when I have a kid, when I have a house, when I work for 40 years and can retire. Anybody know anyone like that? Think how old that person is now. They're in their mid-60s and they're still waiting to enjoy life. The direction you're headed is more important than the destination. So what does it specifically have to do with direction? We all are moving in a direction right now. Every single one of us, every single person that you know is moving in a direction. But not all the same direction. Andrew, and I'll answer your question in a moment, okay, sir? Very good question. This question was path-oriented, not goal-oriented, and we'll get back to that. And Dave, I see your comment. Yeah, my camera's frozen up, and I don't know why. So we just decided we're going to move on. We're all moving in a direction. I know. And this is, again, a discussion we've had some time ago, but just to refresh your memory. It was basic human needs written in our DNA that we need to be satisfied. They need to be fulfilled for us to be satisfied, and they include some level of consistency in our life, some level of variety or inconsistency in our life, our relationships, our love, our connection, social relationships, engagement. Those are the top three. When I say top and bottom, they're not in relevance or importance. They're just grouped this way. The next ones are significance or relevance, the need to be needed. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's actually part of who we are. We need to be needed. That's the fourth one. Contribution. We need to be contributing to something greater than ourselves, bigger than us. We're meant for so much more than just to be us. What I mean by that is there's a purpose bigger than us out there that we are designed to contribute to and contribute to. And I would suggest that and this will be part 2 of the call. And part 2 of the call, which we'll do next week, will be based around our why. And it's a loosely used word these days. I want to say not respected enough would be a good way to put it, because it's predictable. It's automated. What's your why? Well, my why is to provide for my family, my husband, my wife, my kids, etc., etc. And it is a piece of your why, but to think for a second that you, in all your unique authenticity, your magic, has been put on this earth for that small a purpose, and I don't mean that in an insulting way, but to think you've been put on this earth for that small a purpose is doing yourself a major disrespect. We're all put on this earth to have an impact. God would not have made us so uniquely special if that were not true. Part of the direction, the journey that we're on, is to understand what is so special about ourselves. And the direction you're headed is very much relative to how good a job you're doing that. Are you the type who just likes to conform, not make waves, stay in your comfort zone, just get through unnoticed? Guess what? You're going to have a really hard time magnifying your magic. Maybe you're also the type who likes to compete with others, which is another form of conformity. Or at the end of the day, your own rules, your own integrity isn't even yours, it's theirs. You're competing, you're trying to be like them just a little better. That direction is not going to allow for self-actualization, for a high level of fulfillment, because you're not operating, you never will be operating within your own unique authenticity, your genuineness. The direction we're on is more important than a destination. See, we want to know, always want to know, like, where we're going. As I had somebody ask me the other day, there's a pretty high-end mastermind rep, Pat, can you help me figure out a 10-year goal? I'm like, you got the wrong guy. If you want to talk about 90 days from now, let's crush it, man. 10 years from now, that ain't happening. And I don't believe that it should. How would you know what you're going to be doing 10 years from now if you don't even know who wholly you're meant to be, or what your true calling is, what your bigger purpose is, the second half of your why? See, the first half is what I call our priorities. What are your real priorities within your why? And mine, like many of yours, are to take care of maybe people in our immediate family or extended family or something along those lines. But then there's our responsibilities, which are different than our priorities. They're not one and the same. They may sound like they are, but they're not. Our why should be comprised of our priorities, what we got to take care of now first, but then our responsibilities. You're responsible to leave as big a dent on this earth as you possibly freaking can while you're here. And the only way you can do that is to dig deep and figure out who you were meant to be. And the only way you do that is constantly test the limits, figuring out what skills you have to make things happen. And yeah, getting knocked on your ass along the way is part of the process. You want to really learn about who you are? Get dinged up a little yourself. We had this talk about Ronda Rousey the other day. Ronda Rousey, for those who don't know, is a phenomenal female MMA competitor. And she lost her first UFC fight the other night, got destroyed. Without getting into why she got destroyed, another day on that topic, but one of my comments about this, true warriors are decided not while they're champion, but when they get their ass kicked and what happens next. That's where they determine who they really are on the inside. That's where they'll find out a lot about themselves. Go all the way back to the days of Mike Tyson. Someone thought he was one of the best fighters in the world ever in heavyweight. And the truth is, man, once he got knocked down, his game was over. He never recovered. Completely different than Muhammad Ali, who's been knocked down and then risen back up to champion. The direction you are on is more important than a destination. The destination is an achievement. The path we take to it, though, is what provides for fulfillment. And it is impossible for any one of you, myself included, to tell me now who you're meant to be in 10 years from now. Because it's only through this constant ongoing drive, every day pushing the limits, competing with one person, ourselves from yesterday. That's it. That's how we uncover the answers that we seek. And resistance in our lives is always created the second we back down, stand down from this challenge of becoming bigger each day. It's uncomfortable, no doubt. Fear gets involved because for us to outperform ourselves from the day before means we also have to be doing new stuff each day, more than we did the day before. Which means we're going into new territories, which means that we don't know the outcome about what we're going to do. We don't know if we're going to succeed or not. We don't know if we're going to be accepted. We don't know if people are going to talk about us. We don't even know what to expect. And all of that, what I just described, which are not necessarily comfortable feelings, unfortunately, get overwhelming for some people, and we get corralled into the proverbial comfort zone. So the sixth basic human need, as we're climbing up the ladder here, remember number 5 was contribution. We need to feel that we're contributing to something bigger than ourselves. Think about that for a second. If all you thought was that our only purpose here is to provide for whatever you've said your why was, think about the difference in perspective the moment you realize that no, you're put here for a much bigger reason, to contribute to the well-being of the world, to make the world a better place once you leave it, to leave as big a freaking dent as you possibly can. You do that by positively affecting as many people as you can while you're here. There's no one on this call who can't start doing that right now today. Number 6 was growth. Remember, number 4, significance, feeling relative, significant, wanted, needed. Number 5, contribution, contributing to something bigger than ourselves. And number 6 is growth. It is written in our most inner code that we have to grow each and every day. We can't sit still. And when we deny that process, we deny our self-actualization. We deny our ability to reach our potential. And it's in that space where resistance is created in our lives. Next week, we'll spend some time understanding at a deeper level our why, our priorities versus our responsibilities. And maybe even track a little further, how do we uncover this along the way? Because it's not like you can just read a formula and it spit out an answer for you. It's funny, I've been working with 30, 40, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds now for a good part of the past 10 years. And at the end of the day, most of the challenges that we start out working on are really symptoms. And the cause of the symptom is the resistance that's created when we reject this process of seeking out our bigger purpose. It's designed to create resistance, because we can only be at our best if we're always in motion pursuing our full potential. So I'll kind of wrap it up on that for you guys. Your direction is greater than your destination. Oh, no, I got to go back to one question here from Andrew. So Andrew, don't mistake this with the idea. I'm not saying goals are not relative, okay? Goals are relative, but only in terms of measuring achievement. Achievement and goals can almost be synonymous. It's a way to keep us on track. It's a way to measure forward progress, okay? And if you've followed any of my other writings or teachings, you'll also knows I always say, well, we got to start with the end in mind. What is our bigger purpose, our bigger goal? We need a direction. You cannot head out on vacation without identifying where you want to go first. Okay? But again, that's for the sake of measuring progress. It's not the destination. Okay? Destination versus direction. Direction that you're going is more important than the destination. Guys are awesome, man. Love being here with you. We'll see you guys back here live next week. And if you have any comments, questions, you're always welcome to share them along the way. Mr. Davey, good to see you here too, bro. All right. Peace, y'all.